microscopes.
Electron microscope.
Electron microscope. Light microscopes have been around for 500 years, but technology or people's use of tools has improved. Today's a scanning electron microscope SEM can match.
So SEM is like abbreviation for the word scanning electron microscope. Scanning, S for scanning, E for electron, and M for microscope. Can magnify
an object up to 1 million times. The SEM shoots a beam of electrons at the object. An image of the surface of the object appears on a computer screen.
Yeah. So what is better, electron microscope or light microscope? What do you think, Ammar? Ammar? Light microscope is better?
Yeah.
Why?
Because
if you read it carefully again, look, electron microscope can magnify the picture into how many times? Look at this.
1 million times.
1 million times. But can the light microscope magnify like this number?
No.
No, of course. So what is better, electron microscope or light microscope? Electron microscope. Thank you, Omar. Ahmed Omar?
Yes, Mr.
Dropper. What is dropper here?
A dropper is a tube with a rubber bulb on one end. Squeeze the bulb and then dip the tip into a liquid. Release the bulb and the liquid will be sucked up the tube. When you slowly squeeze the bulb, the liquid drops out.
Ahmed, have you used dropper before? Dropper like this in the picture?
No.
So when you go back to school, you're gonna use dropper in the lab.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll be like a doctor, a small scientist.
Yeah.
Abdullah Khalid? Abdullah?
Yes.
The last thing, what is this?
Pipette.
Yeah. Pipette.
A pipette is a tool like a dropper, but it's more exact. It is used to add, remove very small amounts of liquids. Pipettes often have marks on the side to measure volume. One kind of pipette makes drops so tiny that they can only be seen with a scanning electron microscope.
So what is better, dropper or pipette?
What do you mean?
What is better? Can you make comparisons between
Pipette.
what in the top and what in the bottom here?
Pipette. I say pipette.
What is the reason?
Because it can
You can read again. You can read again if you want. You can read again if you
because
want.
of the drop. Because the drop is so tiny that they can only be seen with a scanning electron microscope. That's why. Well, that's
Okay, Abdullah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Now let's go into the lab to see the exact job of the scientist.
My name is Viola Lobert. I'm a scientist at the Institute for Cancer Research, and I'm also a lecturer at the Department of Biosciences at the University of Oslo.
Hi, my name is Ricarda Szymanski, also called Ricky, and I'm a master's student at the University of Oslo, and I'm the master student of Viola. Yes.
The concept behind this lab tour actually started a few years ago when I was lecturing at the University of Oslo in an earlier version of this course. Ricky was actually one of my students then, and she asked if she could come and visit the lab. And I thought, of course, but let's invite other students as well. Turns out this was a success, and I've done this every year since. This year we actually decided to have lab visits in 4 different model organism facilities to communicate to you the value of these model organisms. Ricky is actually now a master's student with me as a supervisor at the Institute for Cancer Research, and prior to this she actually worked here flipping fly stocks in the Ruston team. So Ricky, why don't you tell us why you chose to study developmental biology and why you decided to do your master's here?
As you know, I have taken a lot of courses during my bachelor's. For example, cell biology, molecular biology, biodiversity, and while all these courses touched upon developmental biology, their focus was on the developed organisms instead. But what I was wondering was, how do we become who we are, and how can a single cell become a human, or how can...
Yes, Abdullah, do you have a question?
I want to ask a question. Why
Yeah.
do all scientists wear these white clothes?
About who?
Yeah, the scientists. Why do they?
Yeah, it's like uniform. It's like the uniform. Do you have uniform in the school?
No,
You don't have uniform?
no.
Most of schools have uniforms. So as well as scientists. That's why this Balto can protect their clothes from the chemical reactions, chemical items inside the laboratory.
Okay.
the seed become a tree. So all these questions were in my head, and I saw this course, and then I decided, well, this course is going to be fun and interesting, and it was. And there are a lot of details, and I had to learn. It was a very difficult course, and I can tell you that developmental biology is not an easy branch of biology, but it is a very important one.
I can say that after having worked with different model organisms over many years, one really comes to appreciate the beauty of development and the level of organisation and patterning that happens under your eyes when looking through the microscope. When it comes to why I like working in lab, it really comes down to the fact that I like to test something new, designing a hypothesis and contributing to learning to how things work, eventually leading to information that can end up in textbooks.
Now we are going to see what is SEM or SEM microscope. Let's see it. And how it works. Attention, please.
Hey, you want to get leaner?
The scanning electron microscope. Scanning electron microscopy is one of the most fascinating examination methods. This video shows how it works in practice. Main components of the microscope are column for electron beam generation, specimen chamber, vacuum pump, monitor, and control panels. The material tester turns on the vacuum pump control and vents the specimen chamber. After pressure equalization, she can open the cover plate of the specimen chamber. Together with the cover plate,
Yusuf Hoda. Yusuf. Jamal.
Yes, mister. Yes, mister. Yes, mister.
Yusuf, how many times can scanning electron microscope magnify the items?
10 times, 100,
You said 10 times or 100. Let's see. Jamal, how many times can scanning electron microscope magnify the objects?
100 times.
You said 100 times. Check, Abdullah. What is your answer? How many times can this microscope magnify the objects? Mu'taz, what is your answer?
Yes.
How many times can this microscope magnify the objects?
Like it.
If we read the text from the book, you will get the answer. Faisal, what is your answer for this? How many times?
How many times what?
How many times can this microscope, scanning electron microscope or SEM microscope magnify objects? How many times can it magnify objects?
I guess, right?
How many?
I guess.
Yes, guess.
I guess a number. 100 times.
No. Look, boys, the answer is 1 million times. 1 million times. This is called electron microscope. It's different from the light microscope with Abdul Mohsen. This works with electricity and some special techniques, like special technology.
The stage pans forward. Now different specimens can easily be placed on the round stage. The filament of an old used light bulb monitor. Originally, the coiled coil filament was quite smooth on the surface. Caused by the everyday use of the filament, new crystals have been formed. Tungsten atoms have evaporated and the outer regions of the filament have become polygonal.